guys, and thanks for joining us again. Today we're with Mary Summers, owner of Lighthouse Title here in Daytona Beach, located at 104 La Costa Lane, which is just off of Dunn Avenue in Williamson.
Yep.
She's going to answer a few questions for us, maybe go over what her business does and how she can help both in the real estate side of things, type questions as well that are frequently asked. I guess we'll start today, Mary. What exactly does a title company do?
Well, Eric, we search title on a property. We go back 30 years, sometimes further than 30 years. Make sure that everybody that's ever had an ownership interest in the property has deeded their interest to the following people. Any liens, judgments, mortgages have all been paid off. If somebody has passed away in the past, we review the probate, make sure everything's in order, all the heirs, again, deed at their property. That's kind of step one of the 52 steps that there are in handling a purchase transaction.
Okay.
We also work with the lender to prepare the settlement statement, handle the closing, get the documents signed, fund the seller, make sure everything's recorded properly, and then we write the title insurance policy.
Okay. So yeah, that's a lot. I think that's a lot more, entailed than what people think. They just show up a lot of times, they sign their papers, they have no idea what's actually going on days and weeks prior to them even arriving at the closing table, right? You mentioned title insurance, and I guess that would be the next question is, what exactly is title insurance?
So, well, in a transaction, in a cash transaction, all we write is an owner's policy, and that ensures the buyer that they're getting clear title to the property. There's nobody else that has an ownership interest. There's no liens or encumbrances on the property that they're not aware of. When you have a finance transaction, we write two policies. We write the owner's policy to insure the owner, and then we write a loan policy for the lender, and that ensures them that their borrower owns the property, that they're in what we call first lien position, meaning if the lender needed to foreclose, they would get the first dollars out of a foreclosure sale. So if there was an old mortgage that wasn't paid off and they went to foreclose, the money from the foreclosure sale is going to go to that old mortgage before they would get any money. So that way, if something gets missed, we're all human and stuff does happen. And so if a mortgage was missed or whatever, that lender would file a claim with the underwriter, which most of our stuff is written on Stewart Title. We also write on Westcor. And they would file a claim on that, and the title insurance would pay that old mortgage off.
Okay.
Likewise, if you had somebody, a divorce situation, and the marital settlement agreement said that the one spouse was supposed to get $10,000 in exchange for their interest in the property, we verify that they got the funds, they sign an affidavit to that effect. If they didn't get the funds, then there's the potential again for a claim under the owner's policy, and the underwriter would then turn around and pay off that spouse that didn't get paid out at closing that should have.
Okay. So the main differences between these two being the owner's policy for the owner, I guess, and the lender's policy you mentioned, what would you say the main differences between the two are?
Well, it's just that the owner's policy insures the owner, and that's good. It's unlike any other insurance. You pay for it one time, and it's good for the entire time that you own the property.
Okay.
The lender's policy is specific to that lender, and that's telling the lender, yes, your borrower owns the property, and there's nobody that has an interest in the property superior to yours.
Okay. So, for example, if someone's purchasing a home and the owner before them didn't pay the roofing contractor, for example, is that something that would deal with the insurance policy then?
Well, yes, but it should show up anytime that work is being done in excess of $2,500, a notice of commencement gets filed.
Okay.
That gives the contractor lien rights for 1 year. So we go through it an awful lot. Went through it on your home.
Sure, yes, we did.
With windows.
We did.
So we make sure that the contractor got paid. We terminate that notice of commencement because if the contractor didn't get paid, their lien, because that notice of commencement was before your deed, they would get their money first in a foreclosure sale. They can turn around and turn their lien into a judgment and foreclose on your property for their judgment. So that's, at that point, it should show up in title when the work's not been paid for because the notice of commencement should be of record.
Okay. And in the event that that was missed for some reason,
title insurance would cover it.
that would protect me in that case.
Yes.
However, after I purchase a home and close, and I hire a roofer and I refuse to pay him,
That's
I assume it's on me and it doesn't protect us, right? So
Correct.
It's basically from the day of closing backwards in time to
Right.
protect you. before you purchase, basically, to the day of.
Anything that happened on title prior to the date that you came into title. The
Okay,
date your deed's recorded.
okay. And then what happens if you have to use your title policy? How do you,
Well, on your policy, it's 8 to 10 pages long, depending upon what type of property we're dealing with, where it's located, whether it's a homeowners association or something like that. The contact information is in there to file the claim. You would reach out to, like I said, we write on Stewart Title or Westcor. You would reach out to them, give them your policy number and what your problem is.
okay, and they kind of take it from there and
Yep.
and work out the situation, okay. And, I guess at this point, it sounds to me like kind of a dumb question, but obviously, so do you need title insurance?
You should absolutely have title insurance. You don't know, like I said, people are human. We do go back 30 years. I have an investment property that I bought that back in 1957, somebody they misdeeding the back 25 feet of the property.
Okay,
And so after the person that had received the property had died, somebody tried to deed that 25 feet to a dead person.
okay,
And then the person that received it passed away, and we went through 3 probates, and we had to do what's called a quiet title suit so that I could get clear title to that back 25 feet of my property.
okay,
All because, it had closed like 8 times since that bad deed in 1957 where they tried to deed it to a dead person.
okay.
So it was missed 8 times.
So it's definitely something that every buyer should consider having. And I guess the next thing is, well, it all sounds great, but like, what does something like this cost? It sounds like it's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars for this kind of protection, right?
So, well, first off, typically in our market, it's a seller paid fee. So the seller's ensuring
Okay.
that clear title to the buyer. But the state sets the rate. So we have promulgated rates, and that's that the first 100,000 of the purchase price, it's $5.75 per thousand. And then from $100,001 up to $1 million is $5 a thousand. So if you had a $200,000 purchase price, the cost of title insurance policy is $1,075.